So, this is an interactive section, and we can have an interaction as much as the sound can allow us to have outside. So, what we can do is pass the microphone around, and you can ask me questions, non-political questions, uh, and I'll try and interact. And I can't tell you that I will find an answer for everything you ask because I haven't heard the question, right? So when I hear the question and I think I can discuss it, then I'll answer. Otherwise, I have a nice way of saying I don't know. Okay? The most difficult thing, somebody already ready to ask. The most difficult thing about life is that it is so difficult to say I don't know. Unfortunately, everybody knows nowadays. There will be only some fellows like me who sometimes think we don't know. Huh? And there are more number of gurus than disciples nowadays. Yeah, seriously. So very often, I end up hearing people teaching me rather than asking me a question. So that's also allowed. Have to move with the times. We are in Kali Yuga, so we also have to. Yes. So number one question. Or later on, when some of the questions are exhausted, I'll tell you a couple of stories. Huh?
One question developed in my mind that in Mandukya Karika,
Keep it near your mouth. I can't hear you.
that is in Mandukya Karika, Gaudapadacharya describes Turiya is one true self. One's true self and jackfruit, sadhana, etc. are illusions.
Okay.
The same thing also told by Ashtabhakta to Raja Janaka.
Yes.
I hope. In Upanishads also says Purnamika, etc. That is, we are incomplete in what aspect. Krishna advised in Gita that soul is indestructible, eternal, neither can be, no objection, declaration can be made.
I'm listening.
Then after penance, meditation, kriyas, or so many activities, then who realize all such things? Who realize all this? And one thing also, so what is the relation between Turiya and soul?
And the soul?
Soul.
Okay. So, for those who haven't studied Gaudapada's Karika and who haven't gone through the Upanishads and particular questions about the Gita, let me do a little background on this. She was talking about the Mandukya Upanishad and the commentaries on the Mandukya Upanishad. The Karika means a commentary by Gaudapada, who is the grand teacher, guru of Adi Shankaracharya. Goes back quite a bit. Gaudapada's Karika is famous. People who start going into Vedanta, first thing they read is Gaudapada's Karika and come out totally confused. So I'll have to deal with this carefully. Then there is the Gita. So we're trying to connect. So his question was one particular word that occurs in the Mandukya, on which the commentaries have been done. That word is Turiya. This is his main concern is the word Turiya. So he feels that Turiya means the ultimate essence of reality. And his question one in one. I'm not going to go number by number in a chronological order, but since you asked me many questions, question is this called Turiya? Is this the soul itself? Or is there a difference between the soul and Turiya? One of the questions, right? So we have to explain what is Turiya first. I'm sure many of you may not have read the Mandukya. It doesn't matter really. To read life is more important than reading Mandukya. But since the question is there, I'm going to discuss. The Mandukya Upanishad is the smallest among the Upanishads, and it doesn't deal with what you should do or what you should not do. It simply discusses the different states of consciousness. Is there a market there? What? Bus stop. Oh, yeah. So, it merely discusses the different states of consciousness which all human beings have in common. What is one common state of consciousness that we have? Which state are we in now? Are we sleeping or awake? Awake. So, this state of consciousness is called Jagrita in the Mandukya. Jagrita Avastha. That state of it is common to all human beings. It is common to people from Calcutta, people from Madras, people from India, people from UK, people from Assam, people from Bangladesh, people from Pakistan. Everybody is awake at some point or the other. So it's a common state for everyone. Then the next state is the dream state, Swapna Avastha. We know that this is common to all humanity. Not only night dreaming but also daydreaming. Dream state is common to all of us. Yes or no? Everybody dreams sometime or the other. White or you're black or you're brown, you dream. I think even daydreaming is very good. Through dreams you can build up many things, beautiful things. Then the third state, which is common to all, is the sleep state. Now sleep is called in Sanskrit Shushupti. Shushupti means that state in which you are fully in a dream where you cannot remember anything. You can neither see anything outside nor can you see anything inside. It is not outwardly cognition, not inwardly cognition, nor even you know that you are trying to see something in deep sleep. You don't even know that you are in deep sleep, except when you wake up. So when you wake up, very often, mostly, the sleep is so beautiful and so blissful that you don't want to wake up. Morning you want to wake up, I have to go to the airport, okay? I put on the alarm. One ring, I want to sleep again, you switch it off. Second ring, I want to sleep. Third ring, I get up because otherwise I'll miss the flight. Otherwise I want to continue in it. Why? Because there is no inward cognition, there is no outward, there is bliss. In fact, it is called Swarga, heaven. The Gayatri Mantra, Bhu, Bhuva, Swa, Bhu, Bhu represents the waking state, Bhuva represents the dream state, and Swa represents Swarga, which means deep sleep, Sushupti. And it certainly is blissful, although you are not aware of the bliss at that time. When you wake up, you say, I had a very blissful sleep. So there was somebody remembering it at that point. We were not aware of it at that point. Now we come to the word Turiya. Now the Mandukya describes Om as divided into three syllables, A, U and Ma. A representing the waking state, O representing the dream state, and Ma, Om, representing deep sleep. Because once you say Om, you shut your mouth, you need to bring out any new word, you have to open it again. So it's finished for the time being. Om. Deep sleep. Now that's not over. You don't simply say Om like Om. You don't do that. You say Om. When you ring a bell, it doesn't abruptly stop, it goes on. Now when you write Om in Sanskrit, there is a thing called the Ardha Matra on top with a dot, which represents the unending movement of the sound of Ma, which goes on reverberating even after you have stopped saying Om with your mouth. Om. What if I say Om? Yeah, I have heard this kind of Om also. I was in an ashram, I won't say where, in the Himalaya, where nobody called each other by name, they called each other Om. But it was very interesting because when they are in a good mood, they used to say, "Oh, come here." In a bad mood, "Oh, so come here." So that's Om, you know. So this is this Om, which is very nice. Om. That is the Ardha Matra. That represents Turiya. So what is Turiya now? Turiya is difficult to explain. Turiya, suppose in deep sleep, in that heavenly state of bliss, suppose the mind wakes up as a witness and sees it. Normally it doesn't. It remembers when you wake up. It doesn't wake up at that point. Suppose at that time there is awareness of deep sleep. Then it becomes Turiya. But unfortunately you cannot attain Turiya by deep sleep. Otherwise it would have been very nice. We'll all go deeply into sleep. For that all you need to eat a lot. And after that visit the bar. Deep sleep. And then you are into Turiya. This is not possible. However, the state which you can closely describe is deep sleep with awareness. So, if that understanding happens in waking state, when you are still aware, then it becomes Turiya. Now, therefore, Turiya seems to be the basis on which Swapna, waking, dream, and deep sleep play around. So, Turiya is the original background. His last question was, so now, who is it that recognizes Turiya? Good question. Who is there who recognizes Turiya? Now here is the problem. The recognition of Turiya is self-recognition. It's not as if a third party is recognizing. In the state called Turiya, Turiya itself is a witness of itself. There is no other entity out there to recognize Turiya. This is our experience. This is what the Acharyas also discussed. Good. Now, if you really want to experience that Turiya, which we are talking about, if you really want to have an anubhava of that Turiya, you know, even if you wish to have it, you cannot, but even if you wish to have it, this little I, which says I am so and so, I am this, I know this, I don't know this, I have studied this, that, which also has attractions and which is also repulsed, this little I with its likes and dislikes, its calmness and agitation, its opposite views on various factors, when that I has disappeared, then only that is there. This cannot see it. Because this is a smaller, let me explain to you, if you like, in a little more scientific way, as far as I can. This is the eye of the camera. So, if this little eye, like the one here, if when it completely disappears, when it becomes like the eye of the little child out there, then you know what is Turiya. And anyone trying to find Turiya When we reach so close to it, you are not there anymore. There is only Turiya. But it is conscious, it's not unconscious like deep sleep. It's not unconscious like deep sleep. It's very conscious. But it is not me, this little me which is conscious. Understand what? Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, we are here in Calcutta, described it beautifully in a sweet way by saying, a salt doll, a doll made of salt, went to find out the depth of the ocean. It said, let me find out how deep the ocean is. And it went slowly inside. What happens if a salt doll gets into the ocean? Where is the salt doll? There is only the ocean. So this little I, so therefore all sadhana, all preparation, all work is to get rid of this little fellow. When this little fellow is gone, don't think you will be dead. There is the big fellow there. People are afraid. If this fellow, only fellow I know is this, if this also goes, what will happen to me? Am I in oblivion? Well, the Buddhists use the term Shunya, but Shunya is not nothing. Shunya is Bhaya Shunya. Shunya is that which has no opposites. It's called Shunya because it cannot be defined. Not that there is nothing. If it is nothing, why would somebody do years of sadhana to attain nothing? It is that something which we cannot describe or define, therefore we call it Shunya. There is a difference. Vedanta uses the language, the word Purna instead of Shunya. They are actually the same. Continue to read and understand. And please give lot of attention to this little I fellow. So that now, since we are on this subject, can I tell you a little story? Please listen to it as a story, okay? Don't say, oh, this is, how can it, it's a story. And through parables and stories, many things are learned, which words cannot describe. In fact, when you come to absolute things, words are usually useless. Upanishad says, yad vacha anabhyutitam, that which words cannot describe. Upanishad. So, this is a story, so just take it as a story. Don't you read Harry Potter or Sherlock Holmes? Just read it. But get the points. This was told to me by somebody during the walk. We had this Padayatra, so we went to stay in an ashram. And the Swamiji said, after the satsang, can I say? I said, can you talk a little bit? He said, if you say, I will say. I'll tell you a story. He told me the story. And I remembered it throughout the walk, so that when I reached Srinagar, I didn't feel that I had done this after 1 year and 4 months. The story is that there was a great Shilpakar. You know who is a Shilpakar? Sculptor. Sculptor. He was one of the best sculptors. And one day, he went to a temple because he was summoned to make an image of an idol of particular god to be put in the temple. Just imagine this. The gods have to be made by us. So this sculptor was called. And the sculptor went. The priest of the temple was somebody who knew how to look into the future and so on. So he told him, hello, in 3 months you're going to die. That's what your planetary policy. In 3 months you'll be dead. He said, 3 months I'll be dead? Okay. He said, what kind of a man are you? You are telling me I'm going to die in 3 months. Here we also have the conference of the crows. It's called there's a beautiful Sufi text called the Conference of the Birds, like a Conference of the Crows. Manti Kuttaya, Conference of the Birds. Anyway, so he called them. He said, you are the priest, the temple. So you know, you have a close link with God, hopefully. You must be having some connection. So please, can you tell me how to get out of it? What is the use of saying you are going to die? Even if you didn't say I would have died. So, can you tell me how to get out of this? Any remedy? Any? I said, yes, there is one remedy. What's that? He said, when your death approaches, when the time Muhurta comes, then the three Yamadutas will. Don't tell me there are no Yamadutas. This is a story, okay? The three Yamadutas, messengers of Yama, the Lord of Death, will come to take your soul. Huh? When they come, you are such a good sculptor. You have time, 3 months. Go back to your workshop and make 2 or 3 beautiful replicas of yourself. Okay? Such a good sculpture, it's difficult for anyone to find out which is artificial and which is real. You make 3, 4 replicas of yourself and stand in the middle, just in the same posture as or replicas. So the Yamadutas will come. Those fellows come on buffaloes, they're a little weak in the head. When they come, he didn't say that, I'm saying. So when they come, they won't be able to find out which is real you and which is the sculpture. So they will go back. And once the Muhurta is over, they cannot take your soul. Do that. He said, okay. So he went back, made 2, 3 replicas, and when the time came, he went and stood somewhere near there. The Yamadutas came, they looked around, can't make out which is real and which is artificial. So they looked for some time, then the time was over. Muhurta was over, so they went back. They reported to Yamadeva, boss, this is a problem. Said, what happened? This guy made such replicas of himself. We couldn't make out which is original and which is artificial. So we came back. Okay. So Yamadeva said, don't worry. Another 3 months he's going to go again. He's going to die. His time is coming up. You go. Before you go, you come to me. I will give you a mantra. It's a rahasya. I will whisper it into yours. You know, the Upanishads are also called rahasya. I will whisper it into your ears. He said, okay. He went to the temple with the idol, and the priest said, hey, 3 months, your time is coming again. What to do? Do the same thing, he said, don't worry. So already he had them ready. So when the Yamadutas came, he went and stood there. Now the Yamadutas, before coming, went to Yamadeva and said, you told us you'll tell us some secret how to find him, tell us. So Yamadeva whispered it to their ears, this great secret. With that secret they came. And what did they do? They simply stood in front and said, oh my God, how beautiful. What a wonderful sculpture are you, whoever you are. The nose, the body, even the skin is so perfect. Put your fingers under the nose, we feel it's breathing. So beautiful. For what, 2, 3 minutes he controlled himself. When he said, you know what, I made it. Then this is come. You are the guy. Now this eye is the problem. Eye of the eye. Chakshu Shat Chakshu. Upanishadic language. So this little eye, if you can get rid of that ahankar and the various diseases associated with it, I and mine, and therefore that is yours and different, then it's possible then in deep meditation, this I will dissolve and there will be the bigger one. You don't lose anything actually. You have lost the trinkets and you found the treasure.
So, my question is that what will happen when I die? Like my soul will get another womb immediately, or it will wait for suitable situation. And if it waits, then where will it wait? And another thing is that it will wait in a neutral situation, or neutral situation, or it will carry the fruits of karma fall with sanskara with it.
Now,
And another question.
oh,
Does heaven and hell really exist in physically, like in another galaxy, or it is in the same world in another realm or another dimension? And if it is not, then is it just a
Now I forgot what you asked me in the beginning.
mental state of that soul? First thing is that when we die, what will happen?
Okay. Let's start with when I die, what will happen? I would suggest that even if I explain to you what I think or I know will happen after death, what is the guarantee that I am speaking the truth? Tell me. Several books have been written in which, seriously, I'm not avoiding your question. Several books have been written on this about after death, what will happen to the soul, where will it go? What if I'm wrong or I'm just trying to answer your question by inventing something? There's no way you can find out. Okay, having said that, my suggestion would be that try to advance yourself in the spiritual field, in the sadhana, so that you will find your answer when you come to this problem of death, because sooner or later we all have to face it. Yes or no? Has anybody not faced it? We have to face it. Not today, tomorrow, any time. So I would suggest, I'm trying to answer your question, but I will also suggest that the best thing would be to move forward in the spiritual training, which we call sadhana, until we are in a position to see if we are only the body or we are something other than the body. First thing to understand. If we are other than the body, then surely there must be somewhere I must be when the body is dead. Cannot suddenly wind up. What happens to all the energy that was there, which asked the questions, which is waiting to get the answer? So there is something, right? There is some energy. We can't be just a bundle of flesh and bones. There's something more. So if you advance in your sadhana, you will come to a state where you will actually know that you are not this body. You'll also know that in the dream, when you imagine in the dream that you're flying high, you're actually flying, not the body. And then you'll have some kind of an understanding of whether the body, whether you really exist after the body dies. In my experience, yes. You don't have to accept it. This is why I'm saying, move forward so that you find it for yourself. In my understanding, yes, after the body dies, there is an intelligence which exists. Now, you said about the karmas. Will it be there with the soul or not? The Gita describes it beautifully by saying, when the soul leaves the body, it goes off carrying the seeds of its karmas, like the wind carrying the fragrance of the flowers. You can't see it, but it is there. In the same way, whatever potentialities you have, whatever karmas you have performed, whatever likes and dislikes you have, because most people don't end their likes and dislikes by the time they die, it's still there. So you carry all this and you go. If you ask me, is there a form? For some time, I would say there is a form. When its form is like exactly the body which you occupy, but much more glorified, this body is not so beautiful. The inner body is much more beautiful than this body. We call it the Shushma Sharira. The Shushma Sharira is more beautiful, finer than the Sthula Sharira which you have. So that always, please, you can only take it from me. You have to understand it yourself. I'm just saying what I know, okay? Now, this Shushma Sharira leaves the body. According to us, it hovers around for a couple of days and then goes. We think 3 days, that will not be so accurate. Somebody passed away here, maybe he's still hovering around. Today. If he comes, I'll tell you. But so, maybe he doesn't want to listen to Vedanta. So if it goes after this wandering around, you look so much like your sister on and around. You come to, you must have some place to stay, right? Can't be all the time hovering around. So there is a place where you stay. And there are guides, there's nothing to be afraid. There are guides, there are teachers, and you stay for the length of time to which you have done good deeds, which you must have read in books. I don't have to read. And then you come back into a womb where you can further evolve. Only thing is, when you come back, you forget all about it and again go back to this. You find out for yourself this womb with the help of helpers who are around you, which is good for me so that I can evolve in my soul can evolve to perfection in the next birth. You choose and you come back. This is what happens. If you ask me, do you believe therefore in past birth and future birth? I would say yes, because it is not a belief for me, it's a fact for me. I can't prove it to you. I cannot prove it. Logically, you might be able to prove, but not actually. How can I do it? Especially because the soul cannot be put in a test tube and so. So yes, there are other realms. See, do you really think, being an intelligent young man, do you really think there can be life only on this little planet? No, no, just think about it today. There must be. This is a wide universe. You can't say just because only in the earth there is oxygen, there can be life only here. Can we say that? Who knows if those creatures need oxygen or carbon dioxide to breathe? And again, if I say this, you may get worried. Do you really think that there are only so many people sitting here? Seriously. You might think so. You might think so, but it is not so. Now, if somebody begins to, on the basis of that, talk to others and all, they'll think he's completely gone. So instead of looking at you, I'm looking here and saying, hi, so what happens? Whether this guy is gone. So, just keep this in mind that there are many realms, many dimensions to the soul, to the consciousness. And we can find that if we move along the spiritual path and develop our understanding and our abilities so we can see. Hmm?
So ghosts and aliens exist.
The worst ghosts are us, human beings. Since there are human beings like us, I don't think any ghosts will come around. Because we have very strong politicians. They can frighten any ghost away from. Sorry. Yeah.
So now, I have a related question to this. Like you said that after death, the soul, with the help of its helpers and guiding teachers, seeks out a womb through which it can evolve. Okay, and is it true for all souls, irrespective of the deed they did in the past life?
Absolutely.
Everybody will try to evolve.
Of course, of course. So don't have any fear. Death is not such a terrible thing. This is what I'm trying to say. Death is like moving from one room to another, actually. But we are so frightened of it that we suffer. You know why we suffer when we die? Apart from physical disease, I understand. What is this great thing that prevents us when you're about, no, I don't want to die, don't take. The reason is some people think it's because we're afraid of the unknown. That's only one part of the story. Actual fear is that I will leave everything that I consider dear to me, which I am fond of. That is the greatest fear. You know? Otherwise, suppose it is guaranteed that when I die, I will take my car with me. Huh? Or if it is guaranteed that I will leave my wife behind. No, take my. And so on. No, I'm joking, okay? I hope nobody is recording this and it's sent to my house. So, when I, if I am guaranteed that I can take everything with me, I have no fear. It's the fear is to leave, not where you're going. Now I'm traveling from. I live in Calcutta. Consider Calcutta to be this world. I'm traveling to Mumbai, let's say. Is there any fear? Because when I come back, my Calcutta is still here. So if I could take everything with me, I would not be afraid of death. The fear is that I will lose everything that I considered my own. Actually, nothing is our own. Fact, nothing. If this conviction comes in the mind and that the soul is moving through different stages of evolution, then that fear of leaving and going does not exist. Then there is a smooth exit. Otherwise, also there is an exit, but a painful exit. So, believe me, I've gone through many exits and come back. Don't fear death.
Question related to what we were discussing yesterday. Uh, Sir, the world we live in is filled with lots of corruption, lots of bad things are happening. When we decide that we want to progress in this spiritual path or we want to think differently, how is it possible to keep control of our anger when we are seeing that when we are interacting with other people, they are forcing us to be corrupt or they are sexually abusing us or molesting, especially the females? How do we achieve that? How do we achieve that mental peace or how do we move forward?
It's not easy in this world. I'm not saying that it is a cakewalk. It's not easy. Especially, even if you're not walking on the spiritual path, you may not even feel many of these things. But if you begin to walk on the spiritual path, then it becomes all the more stifling and controlling. So, the only way is to see through it and walk. There is no shortcut. If anybody offers a shortcut, run away from there because it has been fooled. There is no shortcut. It's a journey. It's a long journey. However, if you understand the fact that deep down in the essence of your being, you are actually part of the infinite bliss, then you probably can handle this a little better. Or somebody who has passed through this should be there to help you, guide you, and say, okay, don't worry, I have also passed through this. We need to get anger. All this has to be dealt with. You can't just sweep it under the rug. Now, I'll tell you a little story, interesting. You've all heard of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, at least most people have. Well, he knew close by in that sense. Looking at Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, you would think, oh, what a great man who probably was born pure and so on and so forth. There was one sadhak who used to go to him regularly who had one problem. He could not, many of us have this problem. He could not control his lust. You know what is lust? It means you have to be always engaged in your sensual pleasures. This is lust. So he used to think, I must ask Thakur how to get free of this. Every time he met him, he thought, how can I ask this about lust to such a pure being? How can I ask him? Because he is such a pure being, even the word I cannot utter before it. How can I? So he let the opportunities pass. One day he saw Thakur standing near the river, holding on to some post and in a very free mood looking at the river. He thought, now I think I should ask him. Let's get and done with it. Let me go and ask him. So he went to him, did pranam, put his hands up and said, Thakur, this lust is terrible. Everything else I can kind of control, but this is too much. It is overpowering me and I want to escape from it. What do I do? Am I such a cursed fellow that I can't get out of this? You will be surprised at the reaction. Thakur put his hand on his shoulders and he said, you know what? I also passed through this once upon a time. I passed through this once upon a time myself. So I tell you, we need to bear with it and carry on. But keep in mind that you want to be fearful. There is no shortcut. And he embraced him. And the man burst into tears. But the miracle is, if you think it's a miracle, after he went home, there was no lust. So, if you don't know, if you ask me how. So, through contact, which is why they say that sadhu satsang is a very important part. However, how to find the sadhu is the problem.
My very deep regards and pranam to you. Uh, the first part is not really a question, but it has got some bearing on your autobiography, wherein you wrote about Jenny, right? You had taken her to Maheshwarnath Babaji, and it's a mind-boggling story. Now, to tell you very frankly, in this audience, there is one such person who is facing the
I
wrath
know.
of a life in a very
I
bad
know,
way.
I know. I wish Babaji was there and I would have taken.
Now, the thing is, in the way you took her to your guru, so he is here. I will request you, if it is possible, to any kind of yogic technique, to so that the person comes back on track in life. There's nothing there.
I know, I know.
So, this is my earnest request to you. If something can be done, because medical science has already given up on this. And this is my prayer. And now my question. After reading, so much of spiritual textbooks, what I have understood is that unless I get on the field and do real practice, nothing is going to happen.
Absolutely, you're right.
In August, when you had come down for the On Meditation book launch, I asked you what should I do for a start, and I have started the Hamsa meditation. Now, my question is that a kind of Kriya? I have also seen your videos on another type of Kriya wherein you think of lights right from the Muladhara to the Sahasrara, and you illuminate that in your mind with different colors and different sounds and syllables. And look, there's a Kriya on that. So uh, I wish to learn that from you. And for that, I leave it to you whether I should travel to Madanapalli or if you want to teach it somewhere else, it's up to you. But I am very desirous of learning that. And the last thing, I won't take much of your time and others' time, the last thing that I want to know is any kind of, I would say, self-realization, be it through Bhakti Yoga, be it through Jnana Yoga, or be it through Kriya Yoga, is it always accompanied with the awakening of the Kundalini? Or are there certain kinds of realization which does not accompany awakening of the Kundalini?
Uh, I'm trying to not forget your number of questions, but as far as the first question is concerned, I will, since Babaji is not physically here with me, I can't take him there, but I will try my best in whatever way possible to help him out. There is no practice for this, there is no practice, but all I can say, I'm not going to claim that he will be cured of it or not cured of it. That also I cannot say. Maybe, maybe not. Depends on various factors. But if he can do the Guru Mantra regularly, as I ask him to do, then either he will be better, or when he goes, he will go very peacefully and reach the feet of the Guru. And then come back in a different body where he is better. I'm not saying he will, even if that happens. And even if he is here, he will somehow adjust and learn to live with it. Or maybe get out. I can't say anything definitely on this, but it definitely will help. There is no doubt about that he gets a connection with the Guru. Now, The Guru Mantra which we chant, which has been given to us, I give to you. Not only him, others can also chant. It is, I have already given it. In the olden days, I used to keep it secret, but now I decided there are so many people who need it, so I broadcast it. I don't think anything is wrong with doing that. How we do it is we think of a white lotus in the heart, in the anahat, okay, inside. On the heart lotus, we place a pair of padukas. You know what are padukas, right? Footwear of the guru, of the teacher. You can consider these padukas to be the padukas of all the great saints who have lived from the beginning of time to now. Not only Babaji, but for us, because he is our root guru, we consider it to be the padukas of Sri Guru Babaji. And then we close our eyes, in humility we bend our heads, touch the padukas. We imagine that we are touching the padukas. It's a sankalpa. And then with closed eyes, we chant this mantra, Om Hreem Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. That's all. It's very simple. That means Om Hreem, H-R-E-E-M, if you write in English. Om Hreem Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. So if we can chant every day in the heart this for 10 minutes every day, morning or evening, it doesn't matter. Every day, before you go to sleep also. Then the rest I hand you over to Babaji. Okay. So then after that you had many questions. So now I have to. Where did you? Oh, hum saw. You said you're doing hum. Okay. Now the technique which is called hum saw. You said is there some you have to learn Kriya. In fact, hum saw itself is Kriya, the beginning of Kriya, the first part of Kriya, and you haven't done it long enough to shift to another exercise right now. So you can just continue. And even by doing just the hum saw, there have been cases of yogis who have reached the highest without anything else. It depends on how you apply your mind to it and how much. You've all heard of a great yogi called Shyamacharya Lahiri, Lahiri Mahashaya. He used to live in Banaras. He left Kolkata long ago. He went off to Banaras. Now in Banaras, he used to live in a little place which is still there. Many people used to come to him, and there was one professor, very learned professor, who took the Hamsa from Lahiri Mahashaya. And he's practiced for about 6 months, or then every day he used to come and ask him, when are you going to give me the next Kriya? When are you going to give me the next Kriya? Lahiri Mahashaya would keep quiet, not wanting to enter into a discussion. One day while he asked this question, the postman came to give letters. His name was Brinda. Later on he became a great saint. He was known as Brinda Bhagat. Brinda the postman came, and Lahiri Mahashai called him and said, hey, when should I give you the next Kriya? He had already taken Hamsa practice. When shall I give you the next Kriya? He put his hands together. He said, please, Mahashai, this Hamsa, now my neighbors think I am a drunk. I'm an alcoholic, because when I try, I can't walk, I'm tottering. And there is a wonderful bliss going up my spine. I'm so intoxicated, it's difficult to deliver letters. I think I might lose my job. So I'll tell you when to take the next Kriya. Don't give anything to me right now. You know what I mean? So even the Hamsa, don't think that it is the beginning. Put your heart into it. And then when it is required, we can add. And your last question is an important question actually. Several people have this doubt. Then there are many ways to find the truth. Bhakti, Jnana, Yoga, Kriya, Karma and so on. Now in Kriya Yoga and in Yoga Tantras, the Kundalini has to be awakened. I mean, that is the whole statement. Other question people ask is, if you go through some other path and don't know anything about the Kundalini, is the Kundalini awakened there too? That is the question. No? The fact is, the Kundalini need not necessarily be as it is described in the Kundalini Yoga, that it goes from the Muladhara to the Sahasrara according to your directions and so on. It's Kundalini is a part of the universal energy. In different people, it can manifest itself in different ways. Keep this in mind. For the yogi who does the practice, it goes this way, yes. But it can manifest itself in different ways. However, if you ask me, is it possible to attain a higher state of consciousness without the awakening of the Kundalini? No. But it need not be the kind of awakening that we are normally thinking about, that it is going up the spine and going to the Sushumna. It can sometimes burst forth from the heart. For the bhakta, it bursts. He may not even know that it is a Kundalini or what. He doesn't know about Kundalini. But what happens when this energy is manifest is that there is an extreme ecstasy, a great deal of ecstasy, and the body's consciousness is lost for some time. If that is happening, it is a sign that the energy is awakened in you, but it may not be going according to the yogic krama. It's open. Take the case of, here we always have to revert back to somebody, to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He started his spiritual life by worshipping Kali, Mother Goddess, as a priest, right? And then he worshipped her. And then when he got so attached to that image as a form of divinity, when he did puja, he used to sometimes offer the flowers around his own head and put it back. Then he began to see the divinity in himself. Seeing the divinity in himself, in oneself, is seeing the energy in oneself. You may call it Kundalini or you may call it Bhadrakali. Among the Dasha Mahavidyas, Bhadrakali is the first. But I always tell people, approach Bhadrakali only if you are really prepared to break everything down. Don't go and pretend that you are attached to Bhadrakali. There are other aspects of Dasha Mahavidya, milder, Lakshmi, and we all want Lakshmi, right? And so on. So, what I'm trying to say is, then how did he have the first darshan of this mother? As light. He didn't see her, he saw light. And for many days he was absorbed in that ecstasy. Then when he came down, he got a vision, he said, stay in the Bhava Mukha. Right? I'm just saying how they're linked together. Then he learned the tantras from Bhairavi Brahmani. There he learned about the Kundalini. Not before that. And then after that he met Totapuri, the Vedantic sannyasi. And there all Kundalini, everything was gone. There was only the absolute, supreme, all-pervading reality. Pervading reality. So there is nothing. There is no mother, there is no father. In fact, there is only one reality. And then he came down from that. Then he went through many other sadhanas also. For some time he practiced the Christian sadhana. Then he practiced the Sufi sadhana. At the end he said, these are all different approaches, I had the same experience. Right? Now, he knew about the Kundalini, he knew about... So, what I am trying to say, now this cannot happen in one person easily. That was a special case. Usually it happens, only one thing happens in one person for a whole lifetime. That was a special case. So even if there is no actual step-by-step arousal of the Kundalini, the energy awakens in some center or the other, whichever way you follow. Because if there is ecstasy, there is the Kundalini. If there is loss of body consciousness, there is the Kundalini. It need not necessarily be in the same pattern. I hope I've kind of answered your question. Nobody might have told you, so I'm telling you. Right. Now, let me give him a chance. Yesterday only he was wanting to ask.
Hmm. I basically have two questions. The first question is, I have listened to a lot of people who are great spiritual teachers of our times. Basically, what I generally
Are there semi-politicians or only yogis? Okay.
I've never
Okay.
cared to follow such people. Anyways, coming back to the question.
Yeah.
My question is, we often talk about various positive things like love, service, being careful, being taking care of the needy, feeding people, all these positive things. And yesterday from the discussion, you mentioned somewhere that even after a certain point in time, Babaji even asked you to go down to the place, maybe live among the common people, right? But there are certain other aspects which are not discussed.
Like what?
Like if I take two examples from them, they are indifference and detachment. Could you please elaborate on the place of these two aspects, indifference and detachment, in the grand scale of things? Where exactly do they come in, and when to employ these two things and when not to? This is because I often find myself by default going into a state of indifference, and I have to keep bringing myself back. So I feel like a kind of sense of guilt at times that in a particular situation where a normal person would generally be conscious of everything happening around, at that point of time I'm in a mode where I'm indifferent by default. So I want to know where is the place of indifference and detachment of these two aspects in the societal framework, in the grand scheme of things. Now, my second question is, see, we talk about past lives, right? I believe in past lives too, because somewhere I kind of got some subtle hints that something might have been there. See, if for a sadhak, suppose he has done a particular kind of sadhana in his past life. So now, when he takes a new birth, he isn't aware of what kind of sadhana he has done in his previous lifetime. So suddenly, in this lifetime, when he starts approaching the spiritual path, he or she starts approaching the spiritual path. There are many forms of sadhana, right? So without the help of a guru, how would that one person even come to know what kind of sadhana he did in his previous life and from which point to start up again?
Right.
How would he come to know?
Right. Stop. Okay. So let's deal with the first question. Indifference and detachment. Now, detachment detachment is an attitude of mind that develops when you see the impermanence and uselessness of the things which you previously considered to be most important. See, we live in this world, we consider many things as important, normally. When you begin sadhana and when you begin to inquire into the spiritual life, suddenly you realize that certain things which we thought are so important are not so important because they're not permanent, they're temporary things and they have only a value which society has given to them. There is no intrinsic value involved in this. It's what society has made you feel, right? So when you understand this and then for instance you keep enjoying something and suddenly you realize this is a useless enjoyment because it doesn't take me towards the truth, it takes me away from the truth. So when such things happen I can't give you all the examples, but such things happen in daily life, then your mind gets detached from it. I don't want to indulge. It's a deliberate detachment. Now, while you are practicing deliberate detachment, because you don't want to get caught up with this again, very often it happens that you also may become, what did you say, the next word? Indifferent. Now, you can't really say it is indifference because it is actually detachment manifesting itself automatically. Other people might say that, oh, it's indifferent. Till yesterday, he used to see me every day in the bus stop and take me out for a drink. Today, nowadays, is not coming. For them, it is not detachment. For them, it is what? Indifference. For you, it is detachment. So this is only two ways of looking at the same thing. Yeah. Now, let me finish. Let me finish. So, so this is what it is. So whenever you think you are indifferent, ask yourself, am I indifferent or am I getting detached? So you will find an answer to this yourself. And because it applies to different situations, I can't give you a blanket statement on this. Okay. The second question, whether you practice some sadhana in your past, let's say, suppose. Your question is, in this life, how do I know if I practice the same sadhana and have to continue with it or should I shift? You said, yeah, I understand. You need help in that. That's why teachers are around. Not all teachers. They say, look, this is the sadhana that I'll tell you how. You came to me and said you wanted to practice Kriya. How many months ago? 2 months. 3 months? 2 months. In People Grow School, right? I gave you Kriya. If I knew that this is not suitable for you, I would not have given you. I would have said, I like you, you are a wonderful man, but namaskar, salam, this Kriya is not for you. So, since I have given you Kriya, you were previously practicing something which is either Kriya or something close to Kriya. A yogic exercise. We call it Yoga Tantra. Okay? Now, I will talk to this gentleman and then come back. Is it urgent?
Love. Two, three questions. Once you are doing the meditation, when so many times, maybe some 10, 15 years back, something has happened, maybe negative or positive, it comes in the mind. And you are planning for the meditation for 1 hour, and for half an hour you are struggling somehow to go.
Yeah.
Although you have explained a bit in all those some questions, I would like to elaborate on this. Number two, like in Gita and everywhere, what we have seen, whatever we do, it is pre-planned. भगवान ने किया हुआ है पिछले जन्म का है.
भगवान कुछ नहीं करता है, हम ही करते हैं. If you have to shit, we have to sit on the potty. Okay.
मतलब in भगवान की इच्छा के बिना एक पत्ता भी नहीं है. Okay, now it may be a pre-plan that I will be coming today and I will be meeting I went yesterday also.
That is our imagination.
Yeah. So now if everything is pre-planned,
it is not. I don't agree.
Okay, you have answered here also. Or if you can explain further on this. Number three, I have read one book of yours, which is Shunya. Shunya book, the first book. Yes. In that you have written that Shunya said where he was staying, that house, that dhaba on earth, he was blessed with a daughter with the blessings of Shunya. Okay, afterward that girl developed into a highly spiritual devote, and she started roaming around with the stray dogs or so. Now, in your further book, in Apprenticed to Himalayan Master, there also you have mentioned that in this particular, this period, you had gone and met the same lady who was...
No, it's not the same.
It is not the same.
So, shall I start with the last question first?
Yeah.
Now, the book you mentioned, Shunya, is my novel. The book that you mentioned, which is Shunya, is my novel. It's fiction, right? So don't take what is in fiction so seriously as fact. One thing. So that's what it is.
But it's the same thing, the female, same
No,
female.
no, no. That is because, when you write fiction, it's a novel, it's written. Fiction, novel, Amazon, Westland books, right? When you write fiction, you cannot write fiction without some fact. Fiction is actually embroidered fact. When you embroider fact, then it becomes fiction. You can't write fiction without any fact. If you write fiction without some fact somewhere, then that nobody will read that fiction. It becomes unreadable. So there is some fact always in fiction, but then the writer's imagination gives it a frill and makes it readable and understandable. I'll tell you a story. Now, what is the Ramayana basically? Rama is the son of Dasharatha. Sita, who he married, was carried away by Ravana to Sri Lanka. Rama went and got Sita back, and they lived together. This is now. If you say this, is the Ramayana so interesting? When Valmiki, the great Adi Kavi, wrote the Ramayana, he wrote it in such a beautiful way. Then it has become a story, and we understand and remember Rama all the time. In the same way, for everything that you write, including poetry and fiction, there has to be a central core which is real. You write based on that. So the Shunya is actually a fiction, and you said that the same character, that is because I had to supply Shunya with many of my own experiences in a fictional form. So I did meet somebody who was walking around with dogs. Believe me, the character Shunya is based on a certain variety of holy men who act like mad, who are called avdutas. I have met many avdutas in my life. So, although most of the character of Shunya is built up of different characteristics of so many avdutas put together in one form is Shunya. That's why you see the similarities. Now, your first question. The
Not like although we have called a fiction, it may become a part of your one of the life.
See, it's like this. When I wrote my autobiography, okay, many people who don't know me properly began to ask me, is some of it fictional? Now I wrote fiction, Shunya. Many people ask me, is this real? What do I do? The borderline becomes so thin. Anyway, now first question is an important question for sadhaks. What you said was that when you sit down and meditate, what happened or what thoughts or what process went on some years back comes back to your mind. And half the time you're thinking of that and not meditating. Now, this is normal. It happens to many, many people. Although they sit and close their eyes and say, I'm meditating for 1 hour, they're actually thinking of various things. So, how do you stop? Now, the mind cannot remain in a vacuum. If by meditation you mean that you're trying to shut out all your thoughts and become thoughtless, it will not work ever. It has never worked anyway. Because the mind cannot stay in a vacuum. Impossible. The mind always thinks of various factors, it cannot stay in a vacuum. Even if I say now I'm completely thoughtless, I'm thinking. Somebody is saying I'm thoughtless. The only way to be completely thoughtless is to hit our head with a crowbar. Unconsciousness is thoughtlessness. So you can't really do that. That's why people keep on trying, it doesn't work. You cannot become thoughtless. Yes, what you can do, you can limit your thoughts, cut them down, pare them down, and come to one particular thought and remain with that without distractions. This is what Patanjali says, uses as sadhana for chitta vritti nirodha, to remove the distractions of the mind stuff. One thought or one object, or one sound or one image, it can be either. Now, when you practice that, when the thoughts, other thoughts and other things come and occupy your mind, the only way is to keep them out and keep again and again fixing your attention on the object of meditation. There is no other way. The best way would be to give attention to your breathing. If you can shift your attention to your breath, what happens? The mind becomes occupied inside. When it is occupied, it cannot be occupied by something else, so it stays there. Goes in and out. Japa is also meant for that. But there are great bhaktas who have fallen in love with God, with form or without form. Now in that falling in love, there is no distraction naturally. They don't even have to attempt to meditate. It is automatic. Suppose you love good music, let's say. Are you distracted when you listen? No. So, until the time when our occupation with the inner being becomes completely engaging and blissful, this distraction is normal for all sadhaks. You have to keep on working. There is no way out. Unfortunately, if I could touch you and make you free of it, I would have been happy. But maybe for a day or two, you will come back again. Hmm? So, it's already more than an hour, 1.5 hours. What shall we do? Where are my people? They have left me here at the mercy of everybody.
Namaskara, Shriyan. My transition to spirituality is from the science background.
From the science, okay.
Trying
Please, spirituality is also a science. Okay.
uh, trying to find out certain answers. I have listened to your YouTube videos where you made a beautiful statement. When you met the Pope, he had made a statement that every saint had a past, so therefore every sinner has a future.
Absolutely. So nothing to worry.
So
Even I have no worry.
So my question is, as you rightly said that in this vast visible universe, the Earth is just a speck in the solar
Absolutely.
system.
Absolutely.
So my question is, do souls actually come back after rebirth on the same planet, or they go to different planets, or is there a restriction with respect to the spinal cord and our nervous system? I mean, do we come back to the same Earth in the solar system, or is there other alternatives, or is there a restriction? Is there a restriction as far as our spinal system and our nervous, our physical form is concerned?
Nobody has asked me this question. Believe me. But since you asked me this question, yes, there is a restriction. The souls, now you have to only take it on belief, okay? You don't know. But what I'm saying, the souls that leave this body, the human physical body, Homo sapien body, and go to other levels, when they come back, they usually come back only here to the can't hear. They only come back here where there is a particular system of cerebrospinal system. They don't go to others. However, if you have perfected yourself and gone beyond form and shape, nama and rupa, then there are some chances that you might be able to go to other realms. There are chances. When I say restricted, what I mean is normally restricted. But everything is not followed according to that system. There is a blueprint, of course, but sometimes you can move out of the blueprint. Rarely this can happen, and I personally, now you have to take it only on my word, I have met people who have gone and come back. I myself maybe, I don't want to discuss that, but it's a fact. Now I think we need to, sorry. Last question. Last question I'm going to ask, allow you to ask because you live in Ghana, in the forests.
Namaste, my deep respect. To learn Kriya Yoga, to start to learn Kriya Yoga, how do I go about it and what is an initiation?
Right. First, the last question. What is an initiation? Now, an initiation need not necessarily be a technique. What is the meaning of initiate? Means begin. So now that you have listened carefully yesterday and today, and that you are saying maybe it's a good idea to have Kriya, is already the beginning of initiation. So initiation is not necessarily something very physical. However, since you are interested in that particular thing which is called Kriya Yoga, well, I vouch for it because it's a nice system, scientific, step by step yogic system. You will have to come and take the initiation from me. Now, you can't do it like this. You can do hum saw to start with, but that also it is better to take personally. So, if you are interested, what I suggest is there is a website, a portal called Meet Sri N, MEETSRIM. Go into that and you will come in contact with a very nice lady called Lakshmi Kumar. So apply to her saying that I am interested in taking Kriya. While Kriya can be given anywhere, I would prefer, my first preference for giving people Kriya is in Madnapalli where I live, which is in Andhra Pradesh, but only 2 hours from the Bangalore airport, across the border. Or if you come to some retreat which we conduct, for 2.5 day retreat we conduct all over India. So if you look into the website and find a retreat and check that retreat where Kriya Yoga is also being given and apply. So these are the two ways that you can have Kriya. Now since you asked the question, last question, let me explain that Kriya Yoga is not some kind of a magic. It's a technique which has come to me from Maheshwarnath Babaji, my guru, whose guru was Sri Guru Babaji. Yogananda Paramahamsa also practiced Kriya Yoga. It's a different lineage, this is a different lineage, but basically it's the same. So, it's a technique which is practiced regularly with the Guru Mantra first, which I already said. And then there are 3 or 4 techniques in Kriya. What happens is the mind gets purified, and the energy which is in the bottom of the spine, which we call the Muladhara, is made to ascend the Shushumna, which is the central channel, and reach the Sahasrara. This is Kriya. It needs practice. Like Patanjali said, Nairantarya Abhyasana, regular practice is essential. Some rules and regulations have to be followed. That's what it is. Will I attain perfection? Depends on your practice and so many other factors. So thank you very much. Huh?
One question. In practical life, is there a border line between tolerance and or protest?
Tolerance and
Protest.
protest. Protest.
Protest.
PROTEST.
When industries are maintained, how one go on tolerance or protest?
It's a semi-political question. I hope I don't want to answer this question. Like the Ramakrishna Mission is a non-political place, so nobody answers this question. However, since you asked this, I am not in the Ramakrishna Mission, so what I can say is that if you genuinely feel that something is wrong, there is no harm in protesting. One should actually. But that protest should not cause injury, harm or inconvenience to other human beings. And if you really seriously think it is wrong and you don't register your protest, that is not tolerance, that is fear. That's not tolerance. Tolerance is someone keeps on doing something to us, not to the general public, to me, and I say, okay, it doesn't matter, let him do it. He will change at some point. This is tolerance. Or somebody said this is right. Somebody else says this is right. I say both of them may be right in their own way. This is called tolerance. I don't like the word tolerance. I think either it is true or it is not true. You cannot tolerate. Tolerate means, you know what tolerate implies? I think I am right. That chap is not right, but let him be. This is tolerance. It should be either I am right or he is wrong, or he is right and I am wrong. Tolerance implies that I think I am right and that guy is not right. He doesn't know anything, so let him continue. This is tolerance. So that word is not such a good word. I think I have answered you first. I can't help it. There's a young lady, sir. We cannot discourage young people. Last question. Sorry, young man.
Hello. So, Pranam. I'm a engineering student. In 2019, I got a job from a campus recruitment drive. Um, Everything was normal till December 2019 in my life, but in December 17 December 2019, I lost my father. So after that, everything changed. Uh, the goals or the plannings which I had till that date, everything is changed now, and uh, I can recognize many changes in myself also. Like I have lost my patience level, and everything became meaningless. So, and after this incident had happened, my cousin brother introduced me to this all spiritual things which were unknown to me. And I find interest in all this. Mm. Sir, please, will you help me to get rid of this miserable situation currently I am in?
Are you still working?
Um, I'm a student.
No, sorry. Are you still studying?
Yes, sir. I'm in a semester break right now. My 8th semester is still pending, and I got
Look, the first part of your life, which you said your father passed away, this is a shock which, especially if you are very close to your parents, your father, it's not easy to tackle. I can understand. You'll find a void. I can say that everything is impermanent and all that, but when you actually pass through it, it's not so easy to understand. Okay? So I fully agree with you that it is not a joke, it's a serious thing. I understand. But what can you do? Then what you should think. You can't bring this man back. Cannot. So we have to think of those who are now there with you, your mother, your sister. So the best thing to do is say that I will dedicate my life now that he is not there for them. That's the only way. And uh, only time can soothe your mind. Nothing else can do. However, keep in mind that every human being born on this earth goes at some point. Some early, some late. Nobody can do anything. However, having seen this, have affection for others who are in the same situation. And now say, now my parents are part of my life. One person is gone, there are others I have to take care of. Keep this in mind and try to come out of this situation as best as you can. I will pray for you. Please complete your semester, find a job, carry on with life. Next time when I come to Calcutta, I'll see how you are. Or come and see me sometime. Okay? Keep in touch with me. Take my email, mail me sometime. I know I'm not a substitute, but that's not possible at all. However, treat me like an elderly good friend with whom you can discuss matters which you can't discuss now with. Rest assured, I'm with you. Okay, what's your name? What's your name? Anindita. Anindita. Okay. Can you mail me sometime? Yeah. Thank you very much.
I'd now like to request Milankanti Sarkar, Vice President, Kolkata Press Club, to offer a flower bouquet. Sincere token of appreciation.
Thank you, sir.
I would also hand over a token of appreciation for the cooperation extended by Kolkata Press Club.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. May I say something? Yes, sir. In Bengali? Absolutely. Microphone.
আপনাদের প্রত্যেকেই নমস্কার এবং আজকের যে দিনটা এইরকম একটা দিনে এরকম একটা সুন্দর আলোচনা আমি একটু দেরিতে এসে পৌঁছেছিলাম, কিন্তু যে ধরনের আলোচনা এখানে শুনলাম রীতিমতো মুগ্ধ হয়ে গিয়েছি। আমার নিজের ছোটবেলায় পৌঁছে গিয়েছিলাম, তার কারণ ঘটনাচক্রে আমি আমার জন্মকর্ম বড় হওয়া শান্তিনিকেতনে, আজকের শান্তিনিকেতন নয়, তৎকালীন শান্তিনিকেতনে। এবং তখন যেভাবে বড় হয়েছি, যেভাবে আমার মাস্টারমশাইরা আমাকে শিক্ষা দিয়েছিলেন, সেই জায়গা থেকে আমার মাস্টারমশাইরা আমাকে বলেছিলেন যে সেলফ অ্যানালিসিস করতে। সকালে ঘুম থেকে ওঠা থেকে রাতে শুতে যাওয়া পর্যন্ত তুমি সারাদিনে কি কি করলে সেটা বিচার করবে। যেটা বিচার করে দেখবে যে ভুল, সেটা পরের দিন করবে না। যেটা ভালো, সেটাকে কি করে আরো ভালো করা যায় সেটা করবে। আর সেই কথাটার লিঙ্ক রেখে বলছি, বর্তমানে আজকে একটা জিনিসের খুব সমস্যা হয়ে গেছে। সেই সমস্যাটা হলো মানুষ মানুষকে সম্মান জানাতে ভুলে গেছে। এখন ছোট বড় কেউ কাউকে জ্ঞান করে না। আমি এইটুকুই আশা করবো, অন্তত আজকের যে আলোচনা সভাটা এখানে হলো, এরপরে এসে আপনাদের মতো মানুষরা এখনো আছেন বলেই কিন্তু পৃথিবীটা বেঁচে আছে। কারণ সৎসঙ্গ সৎ মানুষ পাওয়াটা বর্তমান যুগে সত্যি খুব কষ্টকর। তারপরেও আমরা নিরলস প্রচেষ্টা করে যাই মানুষের সামনে সঠিক কাজটা করে যাওয়ার জন্য। প্রেস ক্লাব কলকাতার যে ইতিহাস, সেই ইতিহাসে আজকের দিনটা একটা লাইন নিশ্চয়ই লেখা থাকবে। তার কারণ আমার যেটুকু জানা আছে, প্রেস ক্লাব কলকাতার বুকে এই ধরনের অনুষ্ঠান আগে কখনো হয়নি। আপনাদের সকলকে অনেক ধন্যবাদ, অনেক নমস্কার, সকলে ভালো থাকবেন।
I need to say something more. Thank you, sir. Next time, if we have a interaction like this, I would prefer it on the ghats of the river. No, Prastham is all right, but it would be nice.
We can arrange it
Yeah,
easily.
it would be very nice. You can have it somewhere on the banks of the Ganga. You can go to Dakshineshwar, sit on the ghats, watch the boats go, and then talk. Then we can go.
Next time we will do that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Namaskar.